Waste pitch, 1-2. Sun trying to break through. Joe Torre looks on. Flynn. Baylor for one. Kingman. Safe. Must have pulled his foot off because the throw looked in time. Reach safe. And the runner goes down to third. 1 out.
Well, it was a perfect double play ball because Reitz does not run very well. Big hop to Doug Flynn, flip to Bob Baylor. Now watch Dave Kingman at first base. He makes a long stretch. The thing about this is, Steve, that he didn't have to make that stretch because Reitz does not have that kind of speed. He ended up pulling his leg off the bag.
And he almost backpedaled to the bag in time, as Carlos Lescano has a word with Cookie Rojas. So first and third, 1 down. No score in the second. Carlos, the cousin of Sixto of St. Louis. This is his first game of the year. So there's Morales at third and Reitz at first. Low and inside, ball 1.
That was a tough break for the Mets because instead of having 2 outs and runner on third, let's just have 1 out and runners on first and third.
One and one. Lescano from Puerto Rico. Made his major league debut last year with home runs as his first 2 major league at-bats. First 2 hits, to be more precise. That tied a major league record. Here's a ground ball to short. Bobbled by Baylor. Doesn't have a play and a run scores. Had a chance for 2. Doesn't get any, and Morales crossed the plate.
Oh, another perfect double play ground ball. There's that sinker. There's the ball to Baylor. Looks like it just comes up on him a little bit. Definitely lost his chance for 2, but still had a chance for 1 at first base, but couldn't come up with it. Cubs pick up a run, and you said it before. Mets do not play good defense behind Randy Jones, which is unusual because he's got that sinker, and they always hit a lot of ground balls.
That's the Mets' 60th error in 42 games. Jody Davis takes strike 1. 1 out of the second, the Cubs scoring on an error. Davis 4 for 17. Fastball outside, 1-1. Jody originally signed by the Mets back in 1976. Was with the Mets Little Falls team of the New York Penn League, Class A. Hits it to the left. It'll be a base hit. Reitz holds up at third as the throw comes in from Mazzilli, and Ubi flags it down at the mound. Bases loaded with 1 out. Jody Davis with a single to left. Second hit in the inning off Jones.
Well, this is a typical inning that's really been hampering Randy Jones this kind of year. Walks the leadoff batter, a base hit up the middle that if he catches the ball, it could be a double play. Then a double play ground ball that's turned into just a force out, then an error by the shortstop, and then 1 base hit that goes in the left field. So, you know, he's had all kinds of bad luck this year, and that's a typical inning for him this year.
Hard luck, Randy Jones, and the hard luck continues as Rube Walker heads back to the dugout. Rick Reuschal is the batter.
Not a bad hitter, Steve.
No, he's not.
He doesn't look like it, but he can swing that bat.
Be careful now. He swings it there. 1 strike. 2 for 17 on the year.
Well, the Mets have to be heads up for a squeeze play here, even though he can swing the bat. Cubs have not been scoring many runs of late, although they did score 10 yesterday.
Now, this should be 2. Baylor to Flynn for 1. Back to Kingman, double play. And no further damage. So only 1 run on 2 hits and error. And a man left. So the score in the middle of 2. Cubs 1, Mets nothing. Coming up for the Mets, Dave Kingman, Mike Jorgensen, and John Stearns. And now a word from Dotson.
Do you know me? With this hat, I'm recognized as a gourmet cook. With this hat, I'm recognized as a long ball hitter. Without a hat, I guess I'm just another adorable redhead. So I carry the American Express card. With this, I'm treated like an MVP, a most valuable person.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Dave Kingman to lead off for the Mets. Dave, 2 for 7 for the series, a home run, 4 RBIs, has knocked in 10 runs over the last 5 games, batting .219. Montreal ahead of Pittsburgh 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th up at Olympic Stadium on Andre Dawson's 12th home run. St. Louis 1, Philadelphia 0, bottom of the 4th. Later, Cincinnati at Los Angeles, Atlanta at San Diego, Houston at San Francisco. Yanks didn't score on the top of the 1st at Cleveland. And it's ball 1. California 3, Chicago 0, bottom of the 3rd. Toronto 1, Oakland 0 after 2. Detroit came up empty in the 1st, Baltimore batting. And there's a strike, 1-1. Milwaukee 2, Boston 0 at the end of 1. KC at Minnesota, Seattle at Texas later. Big sweeping breaking ball, 1-2.
Remember that great start by the Oakland A's?
17 out of 18.
Well, they're now in 2nd place in the American League West.
And Billy Martin indefinitely suspended. Got a piece of it, the count holds. They've lost 10 in a row on the road now. Did you see the footage of the episode with
No,
Billy?
I didn't see it. Want to describe it to me?
Well, he ran out of the dugout, bumped into plate umpire Terry Cooney, got ejected. Foul. Count holds 1-2 to Kingman. 1-0 Cubs here in the bottom of the 2nd. And then went into a complete tirade, started kicking dirt all over Cooney, and then took a heap of dirt in his hands and threw it right onto the backside of Cooney. Cooney walking away. And the films will be reviewed. Film at 11. Still 1-2.
Isn't Cooney the umpire that felt the wrath of George Steinbrenner last week in that big series between the Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles?
If it is, he better take out some
He's had a tough week.
insurance or something. Foul behind Chuck Cartier. You see the latest on Fernando?
Your friend Fernando.
My friend Fernando, who you don't hear as much about since he's 8-2. But a language school in California wants to give Fernando Valenzuela free English lessons. You see that? He struck him out. First strikeout for Reuschal. He's mowed down 4 in a row. 1 out, here's Mike Jorgensen. Mike is 1 for 4 in yesterday's game, 1 for 7 of the series. Batting .241, taking the place of Joel Youngblood. Low for a ball.
What do you think he should go for those free English lessons?
Well, they have some centers as Jorgensen knocks it into left center field. Extra bases. And he pulls in with a stand-up double. Mike Jorgensen with a 2-base hit. That's his 3rd double of the year.
Well, Jerry Morales is playing way over in right center field. Cannot come up with this ball. It's a pretty good pitch by Reuschal. Down and away. Jorgensen hit it to the opposite field like you're supposed to do it. Should save that footage right there on how to hit a ball to the opposite field.
Jorgensen showing good strength. And the Mets have a runner in scoring position now to tie things up with John Stearns at the plate. John sitting out yesterday's action, 2 for 5 on Friday with a double. Strike 1. John batting .346 over his last 7 games and .283 overall. That was the first hit off of Rick Reuschal. Bounced foul. Rod Hodges started yesterday's game behind the plate. Alex Trevino finished up. Bouncing ball toward the hole. Taken by De Jesus. High throw falls. It goes to the rail. And Jorgensen scoots down to 3rd. Stearns will have to hold. We'll see how they rule that. Yeah,
Has to be an error on the throw. Steve. Could give him a base hit for the ball in the hole, but an error for allowing the runner at second base to go to third. So I would think that's what the ruling will be. There you see John Stearns hitting a ball in the hole. Jesus, a good fielder, comes up with it, makes the long throw, but it's high. Buckner can't come up with it. John Stearns beats it out over there, but allows the runner to go to third base, and now the Mets have runners on first and third.
So it's 1-1, a hit and an error. The throwing error on Ivan De Jesus. Here's UB Brooks, 6th in the league at .331. But 1 for 7 for the series. 1 out. 1-0 Cubs. Go to first. Stearns back. We're in the second.
You know, Steve, I wonder how many base hits in the course of a year that somebody gets on the infield that the infielder comes up with it, then makes a bad throw to first base, and the official scorer gives them a base hit because they don't know if he would have been out or safe.
Well, one thing they've got going for them, they review the play on the replay. Here's a chopping ball today, Jesus. Over to second for 1 to first safe, and the Mets have tied it up. Jorgensen crossing the plate. They got Stearns at second. UB Brooks beat it out, enabling the Mets to tie.
What really made this play is the hard slide into second base by John Stearns. There you see the bouncing ball to short. Now watch this slide by John Stearns if we can pick it up. Right there. Almost killed the second baseman. That's what you try to do is when you're running the bases to break up the double play, but I really believe that really cost the double play right there.
A run batted in for UB Brooks, his 11th, as Jorgensen came home. And UB draws a throw. 2 out here in the second. The batter is Doug Flynn. Doug having a tough time these last few days. 0 for 6. Another throw. 0 for 13. Over his last 13 at bats. Hitting .273. There goes UB down to third. It's punched to Ken Reitz. He'll make the play to Buckner, and that retires the side. But the Mets come up with a run on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. And the score after 2, it's the Cubs 1 and the Mets 1. And coming up for Chicago, top of the order, Ivan De Jesus, Steve Dillard, and Bill Buckner. Now, here's a word from Budweiser. Well, we were talking about Fernando Valenzuela. That is not Fernando. They have 23 language centers throughout the United States, and they're offering to send a teacher to every city where Fernando plays. So Fernando can take lessons at the ballpark or wherever he chooses. I saw that in the paper this morning. Art, there's also a dentist in Beverly Hills who says that Fernando is missing a canine or a bicuspid, and he wants to do Fernando's dentistry for free. Boy, it pays to be 8-2. You can really get some good discounts.
I wouldn't touch the guy as long as he's 8-2. I'm sure Tommy Lasorda probably doesn't want anybody to get near him.
Everybody wants a piece of Fernando. Ivan De Jesus taking 1-0. He flied to right his first trip. Nice pitch, 1-1. Randy Jones, 0-5. Deep left center. Mazzilli back. He makes a great catch. Lee Mazzilli pulls it in at the wall.
Well, Lee wasn't playing that deep, but there's a breaking pitch. Jesus hits the ball right on the button. Now watch Mazzilli go back. And one thing good about this, Steve, he's got the glove on the left hand, which helps him. Nice play by Lee Mazzilli. There's another angle. Over the shoulder catch. Good play.
Good concentration. Lee Mazzilli staying with it all the way. 1 out for Steve Dillard, and it's ball 1. Dillard 0 for 1 on a fly out to right. Mass still getting accustomed to left field. This one sliced down the line. Kingman in pursuit, but it's going to reach the seats. Sun is out.
You know what I was really surprised at yesterday, Steve? They only drew 24,000 people at Cleveland against the Yankees. I thought they'd really have a big crowd for that big series over there.
Yeah, they had about 60,000 the game before. And he bunts it. Randy Jones pouncing on it. He's out. Good play by Jones. Steve Dillard pulling the element of surprise here, trying to bunt his way out.
Well, like a cat off the mound. Randy Jones comes up with this bunt attempt. See him come up with it into the glove and now throw. Nice play by Randy Jones. Sometimes you can handcuff that first baseman if you just pick the ball up and rear back and fire it.
Sometimes you can throw it right into the runner.
You know, speaking of that Yankee-Cleveland series, maybe there was a threat of snow up there or something.
You never know with that town. There could be fog, cold, wind, rain. Buckner bouncing one, scooped up by Flynn. 3 up, 3 down. Randy Jones dashing off the mound, and the score in the middle of 3. It's the Cubs 1 and the Mets 1. And coming up for the Mets, Randy Jones, Mookie Wilson, and Bob Baylor.
New hat. Nice fit, too. Ooh, nice fit.
Wait a minute, Randy. That
That's
was
nice.
a kids'
Looks
camp
fit.
like the one the Mets will be giving away June 13th to kids 15 and under coming to the game on a paid admission.
Sure I can't have it? Just one?
Sorry, Randy.
Oh, why do kids always get all the breaks?
Well, anyway, that's kids' camp night, Saturday, June 13th. A game-winning home run. That's the kind of baseball fireworks Mets fans are accustomed to. There's another kind of fireworks that are becoming a Met tradition. On Saturday night, June 27th, Mets fans can get a head start on Independence Day by coming to Fireworks Night at Shea. Once again, the world-famous Garucci brothers will light up the sky with a pyrotechnic extravaganza. That's Saturday night, June 27th, the magic of Mets baseball and a tremendous fireworks show.
Yes, the Garuccis are back with their famous fireworks display. Saturday, June 27th, 7:05, the Mets and the Cards. Randy Jones is at the plate at a count of 0-2.
Are the Garuccis out there with a little match just lighting these things, running around back there?
They're lighting up my car out there in the parking lot. Jones goes swinging. Now that's 2 strikeouts for Reuschal. 1 down. Randy talking to himself.
Wilson.
Top of the order, Mookie. 0 for 1 on a fly out to left center. We're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 3rd, and the sun's shining brightly right now. Ball 1. Reach in on the grass at 3rd, respecting Mookie's ability to bunt.
Speaking of the bunt, you might see some of the Mets try it. Rick Reuschal's a big guy. Weighs about 240.
Covers a lot of ground. 2-1.
Takes up a lot of space, you mean?
Art said that, Rick. You're watching a replay. Dillard, almost went through his legs. Took that skid. 2 out. Did you see where the Mets have signed up 16,000 kids for their new MVP fan club? Today is the first of 8 MVP fan club dates. That's a lot of kids. Bob Baylor 0 for 1. Nice pitch.
Well, in contrast to yesterday's ball game, there was no errors. Today we've already got 2, 1 by each team.
Crazy. High and tight. 1-1. The pride of Connellsville, PA. Bob Baylor. Has he grown a beard? Right field. Here's Lescano. Easy out. And this is just breezing along. A 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Reuschal. And the score at the end of 3 full. It's the Cubs 1 and the Mets 1. Coming up for Chicago, Jerry Morales, Hector Cruz, and Ken Reitz. Now, here's a word from Getty.
Well, we go into top of the 4th. Identical numbers. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error for both teams. And Coming in to do the play-by-play, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Art Shamsky, and Jerry Morales takes the first pitch for a ball. Morales walked his first time up and later on scored. The run unearned. Both runs are unearned. Morales, former Met. And it's chop foul. 2 balls and a strike. Randy Jones. As Randy Jones works here in the 4th inning. Randy with a record of no wins and 5 losses, trying to get on the winning side. Had a chance to his last time out, but the Mets saw the ball game go away from them when Jones left the game. And the Mets came back to win it. 2-2 the count. Fly ball out to right field. Mike Jorgensen, the right fielder. And 1 away. This Bud's for everyone watching at home. Why not grab a cold one before the next inning? Nothing goes better with baseball than Budweiser. Here's Hector Cruz. Hector singled up the middle his first time up. Batting at .224. One of the 3 Cruz brothers in professional baseball. Jose Cruz, the leader in the family, playing for Houston.
I wonder if the Cruz brothers ever go cruising together.
Sounds like you've been hanging around Steve Albert. That's ball 2, 2-1. Randy Jones. And a drive to right field. Jorgensen back to the warning track. 2 men away. Mike Jorgensen busy in the outfield, his 4th put out. You know, Art Shamsky, you like stats, and we were looking at a book that I certainly would recommend for people who like stats. The Baseball Encyclopedia is one of them, but the great all-time baseball record book by Joe Reichler is now out, and that really has some outstanding things for baseball fans. There's a strike.
Now, Ralph, I was checking that book. You're on about 20 different pages of different things you've done in your career.
That's why I like it. And it's bounced out to Randy Jones, and Ken Reach will be thrown out, and the side retired in order. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, it's the Chicago Cubs won, the New York Mets won. Coming up for the Mets, Lee Mazzilli, Dave Kingman, and Mike Jorgensen. Now here's a word from Budweiser. Well, Steve, 1964, or I should say Art, 1964. There you see Juan de Jesus getting rubbed down. This day with the longest doubleheader ever played, 9 hours, 52 minutes. You know what the longest 9-inning game ever played was? Of course, that's a little tough to answer. 4 hours, 18 minutes.
When was that one, Ralph?
That was in 1962. 4 hours, 18 minutes, Cleveland 19, Boston 9. And the attempt doesn't come off as Randy Jones comes up with it. Lescano's out. Say, fans, the next time you're thinking about getting an economy car, and these days who isn't, see the Datsun 210 sedans, hatchbacks, and wagons at your Datsun dealer and have a Datsun 210. It's good for you. Here's Jody Davis, who singled his first time up. And that's strike 1.
You know, Ralph, it's not always having a good arm that makes you a good pitcher. Already in this game, Randy Jones has 3 assists. He can field his position.
Well, it helps if you're good on the mound defensively, and also it helps if you're good at the plate offensively. Jody Davis hitting .278. First time the Mets have seen him catch.
Well, pitching we signed with the Mets, they probably know a little bit about him. Must not have liked him because he's not with them anymore.
1-2 the count. He was brought up when Barry Foote went to the Yankees. 2-2.
I guess I shouldn't say that. It doesn't necessarily mean a team doesn't like you if you're not with them anymore.
And it's grounded foul. Actually, the Mets had a whole bunch of catchers at one time. They went out in the free agent draft, and it seemed like their selections were catchers. Butch Benton was their #1 draft choice one year, catcher. Of course, he's gone now. 2-2, and a base hit again for Jody Davis. His second hit, 2 times up against the Mets. Ball brought back into the infield, and the Cubs have a runner at first base with 1 out, and the pitcher, Rick Reuschal, coming up, and he's in a bunting situation. Reuschal grounded into a double play his first time up. Came with runners at first and third and ended the inning. That was in the second. Ball 1. Philadelphia getting to the St. Louis Cardinals are leading 5-1 after 6. That's ball 2. Carlton on his way to his 8th victory. He hasn't lost a game this year. Silvio Martinez started for St. Louis. St. Louis has lost quite a few of their ball games lately. 2 balls and a strike.
Ralph, the Cardinals are 3-7 in their last 10 ball games, but they're still in first place by percentage points.
And a good bunt. QB Brooks hustles it over to Doug Flynn, covering at first, and on the sacrifice, Jody Davis goes down to second. That'll bring up Ivan De Jesus. De Jesus 0 for 2.
Coming to the plate, the shortstop.
Cardinals leading Philadelphia by percentage points, but of course Philadelphia, if they win that game, will go in the first. Down to third, Brooks comes up with it, and that ends the inning. Not an easy play for UV. Had a little bit of a tough hop there, but he managed to handle it well and throw to first base to retire the side. 1 hit, 1 left at second, and the score at the end of 4.5 innings. It's the Mets 2 and the Cubs 1. Coming up for the Mets, Doug Flynn, Randy Jones, and Mookie Wilson. And now a word from Datsun. Port Ready, New Jersey loves the Mets, and the Mets in front by a score of 2-1 as Doug Flynn comes up. Well, Andre's our cameraman, high cameraman behind home plate, and wants to know what the shortest game ever played was. It was played in 51 minutes. The New York Giants 6, the Philadelphia Phillies 1. It was back in September 28, 1919. 51 minutes for 9 innings.
Well, that's my kind of game.
You can leave the car parked outside with the engine running.
You can make some plans after those games.
1 strike to count. Reuschal back and missing outside, 1-1. Flynn grounded out to third his first time up. And it's bounced to shortstop to Jesus with it, and he guns it to first base, so they worked on his arm in the dugout, and it seems to be okay.
Excuse me, Ralph. You think a game like that, you'd see pitchers like Gaylord Perry or Nolan Ryan pitching?
No way. They should be in the longest. I'll tell you, the shortest doubleheader was played in 2 hours and 7 minutes. And here's Randy Jones. Randy struck out his first time up. The Yankees against St. Louis Browns in 1926 played a doubleheader in 2 hours and 7 minutes. Strike 2 the count. Strike 3. Jones struck out for the second time. The third strikeout for Reuschal. Both times he got him on breaking balls, and that'll bring up Mookie Wilson. Wilson 0 for 2.
Well, Ralph, what's your theory behind that? Why do you think back in those days, the games were much, much quicker than they are now.
One thing, I don't think they were stealing as many bases, so not as many throws over to first base. And in regard to 1919, they were using a dead ball, so they didn't worry about home runs. In 26, they had a live ball, so I don't know why that game was played so quickly. It was played against the Browns. The Browns weren't very good in those days. Browns now, Baltimore. 2-1.
They must not have taken a lot of time between innings either.
Average game now in the major leagues about 2.5 hours. Mookie Wilson with a 2-2 count. He's 6 for 10 against the Cubs in this series. Got in tight on him, and he pops it up. De Jesus, with the shades down, balls it in, and the Mets go down in order. Easy inning for Rick Reuschal, and the score at the end of 5. It's the Mets 2 and the Cubs 1. Coming up for the Cubs, Steve Dillard, Bill Buckner, and Jerry Morales. And now here's a word from Budweiser. Well, the field manicured here. We're set to go. It's the top of the 6th. Philadelphia Philly fan right there. Montreal, the half game back, and leading Pittsburgh 4-0 after 5.5 innings.
The second baseman, Shea Stadium.
Today's quiz, one pitcher threw 2 no-hitters for the Cubs. One was in 1969, the other in 1971. Can you name him? Bouncing ball, tough play for Baylor, and a good stretch by Kingman, and Steve Dillard is out. Good play at that time by Bob Baylor, who had made an error earlier in the game.
See Bob Baylor going to his left now, comes up with the ball, makes a good play, on the move, good stretch by Dave Kingman.
If you're thinking of opening a savings account, why not go to Manufacturers Hanover? Not only do they have lots of plans to choose from, but each plan offers the highest interest rate the law allows for commercial banks. Bill Buckner, 0 for 2. And taking strike 1, Buckner has 11-game hitting streak, batting at .306. Last year he led the National League, hitting .324. Base hit, and Buckner extends his hitting streak to 12 consecutive ball games. Fourth hit given up by Randy Jones, and Jerry Morales now the batter. Morales walked and scored in the second, flied out to right field in the 4th. That's ball 1.
Start calling the Cubs the mustache team. Everybody on that team's got a mustache.
Jerry Morales. Tim Blackwell, the catcher, has a beauty. Another one through the middle. Buckner goes to second base and holds there, and bouncing hits right through the middle off of Randy Jones. Puts a time run at second base. Also a runner at first, and Hector Cruz, the batter. Hector got the first hit for the Cubs back in the second inning, a single up the middle. Ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. That's left-hander Ken Kravec throwing in the bullpen for the Cubs. Acquired from the Chicago White Sox. And 3-0. Cruz hitting .220 for the year with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs, and batting with runners at first and second. And a strike call. Threw a breaking ball there, Art, on a 3-0 count. Mets were looking for him to be hitting away.
I thought for a second he might be hitting. Ball was away from him, so he took it. Good hitters don't swing at pitches like that.
And now he walks, and that loads up the bases. Bases loaded, and the call goes out to the bullpen. Get somebody ready. And Rube Walker out to the mound. Slow things down here as they try and get somebody warmed up.
Ralph, did you see very quietly who took over the National League lead in runs batted in?
Well, it figures.
George Foster.
Pete Falcone starting to throw in the bullpen for the Mets.
Talking about George Foster, said he had an off year last year with a couple injuries, but he still hit 25 home runs and drove in 93 runs. Probably one of the most awesome hitters in the game, but drove in 3 runs yesterday, hit a home run, now has 37. Mike Schmidt has 36. Concepcion with Cincinnati has 35, and Garvey has 35 with the Dodgers. Foster now has 11 home runs, and Mike Schmidt still leads the National League and the Major Leagues with 14, but I'd say between Mike Schmidt and George Foster, got 2 pretty good hitters, 2 pretty good power hitters right there.
Cincinnati only 4.5 games back of the Dodgers with their win yesterday over the Dodgers 9-1. Foster had a home run and 3 runs batted in. And ball 1. Ken Reitz, who was 4 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 2 today. Batting with the bases loaded, 1 out. The Mets have their infield back for the double play. And it's popped up and playable. It's an infield fly. The batter automatically out. Flynn makes the catch, and the runners can advance at their own risk. They hold. Buckner at third base, holding there. At second base is Jerry Morales and Hector Cruz at first.
You know, Ralph, Joey Amalfitano, the Chicago Cubs manager, basically had the same problems that Joe Torre, the Mets manager, had, getting the runners in from third base with less than 2 out all year.
Cubs have scored 138 runs to the opposition's 211. That's ball 1. The batter, Carlos Lescano, just up from the minor leagues. Lescano is 0 for 2. Ground ball out to short. Baylor to second. And they get out of the jam. No run. 2 hits and a walk and 3 men left on base. And the score at the end of 5.5 innings, the Mets 2 and the Cubs 1. Coming up for the Mets, Bob Baylor, Lee Mazzilli, and Dave Kingman. And now a word from Manufacturers Hanover. Bob Baylor, the leadoff for the Mets. Bottom half of the 6th inning, the Mets leading 2-1. Baylor is 0 for 2 in the game. Grounded out and flied out. He'll be followed by Lee Mazzilli and Dave Kingman. Ground ball to third. Ken Reitz to Bill Buckner. 1 pitch, 1 away. Lee Mazzilli coming up. And it's a pretty day. Frog's Neck Bridge right there. Our director says it's a white stone, but I'd bet against it. Bill Webb said it's a Whitestone Bridge. We can only see the Frog's Neck from behind home plate here. Mazzilli walked and scored his last time up.
Ralph, we were talking about the Cubs' inability to score runs. They've been shut out 7 times already this year in 42 games.
And a blue pit out into left center field for Lee Mazzilli. Lee on base for the 2nd time in front of Dave Kingman.
Just to take that 1 step further, 42 games is about 1/4 of the season approximately. So you multiply 4 times 7, that's 28 times that this team would be shut out during the course of the year.
Well, they got rid of Dave Kingman, and he's a fellow that can keep you from being shut out. Kingman has driven in a run in this ball game. He's 1 for 2. Throw to first base, Mazzilli back. Joe Torrey moved Mazzilli up in the batting order in front of Dave Kingman. And that's ball one after Mazzilli walked in the fourth inning. Reuschal saw Kingman double in the left field corner. Mazzilli scored all the way from first. Very exciting play. Did he swing? There goes Mazzilli, and he's out. Lee Mazzilli thrown out, attempting to steal in front of Dave Kingman. And yesterday, Mookie Wilson was thrown out, trying to steal third base in front of Dave Kingman. I don't understand that one.
Well, I don't know if that was a hit and run, but I doubt if it was a hit and run because you want this guy to swing away. Good throw by the catcher, Davis. Lee kind of just slides in and tags himself out, but runner on first base, I agree with you, Ralph. Kingman up, you got to let him hit that ball.
And that's a ball. You can see stealing with other people than Kingman at the plate. Kingman can put it out of the ballpark too often. And there's a drive to deep center field. That's way back. It is going. It has gone goodbye. Dave Kingman.
That's the first time I've seen him hit a ball to the right side of the field out of the ballpark in a long time.
Well, it was a pitch outside over the plate, and Kingman took it over the center field fence.
So he's got extraordinary power that time to center field to the right side of the field. And people want him to come out and stand up and take a bow again. Here he comes. They love it.
And we'll dedicate that home run to John Lizzo in the press room. It's his 34th wedding anniversary today. John Lizzo and his wife, and the 34th anniversary. Mike Jorgensen, the batter. Mike doubled and scored in the second, 1-for-2 today. That's only the fourth home run given up by Reuschal this year. Ground ball, foul.
You just don't see Dave Kingman hitting that ball to the right side of the field. Not even base hits, singles or doubles.
So the strikeout ends the inning. The Mets score on the home run by Dave Kingman. Mazzilli's single, and because he was thrown out, base hit wasted. No one left on base. And the score at the end of 6, it's the New York Mets 3, the Chicago Cubs 1. Coming up for the Cubs, Jody Davis, a possible pinch hitter, and Ivan De Jesus. And now a word from Budweiser. Well, we're going now to the top of the 7th inning. The Mets leading 3-1. Jody Davis, who was once a Met, coming up to the plate and coming in for the play-by-play, Bob Murphy.
Okay, Ralph, Jody Davis. Young catching prospect at one time in the Mets organization. He was traded to the Cardinals and drafted from the Springfield Cardinals, AAA, by the Cubs last winter. Good pitch by Randy Jones, strike 2. Of the 18 possible outs over the first 6 innings, Randy got 11 groundouts. Groundouts are awfully important to Randy Jones and Rick Reuschal, the way they pitch. That is wide, 1-2. Mike Tyson is out on deck to bat for Rick Reuschal. We've seen a lot of grounders in this ball game and a few pretty good shots, including a king-size shot by Dave Kingman. Here's the answer to the quiz. The Chicago Cub pitcher who tossed a pair of no-hitters was Kenny Holtzman against the Braves and Reds. In the air to short right field. Tough play coming on Jorge. It'll drop for a base hit. Hit right off the end of the bat by Jody Davis, and it drops into right field for a single. And now Mike Tyson will be a pinch hitter. Ralph, this has been some week for Dave Kingman. It started Monday, Memorial Day, against the Phillies when he hit a grand slam home run. A home run Tuesday night against the Phillies. A home run Wednesday night against the Phillies. Thursday was a day off. A 3-run homer Friday night against the Cubs. Yesterday, no home run. But now today, over the center field wall. 5 home runs, 12 RBIs this week.
The interesting thing about the home runs is that they all came and counted. In other words, they helped the Mets in the ball game.
Ball 1 to Mike Tyson. You're right. The scores have been close at the time Kingman has hit them. That's wide, ball 2. Ken Kravec is the left-hander. Len McLaughlin, the right-hander. We'll see one or the other. Tyson batting at 200. He's a veteran. And a strike called on the outside corner. That was a key pitch right there for Randy Jones. It's 2-1 and not 3-0. Now he's behind him, 3-1. I don't know. Oh, he must be out in the picnic area just resting for a moment. Fouled off the end of the bat, 3-2. Ralph, I haven't kept that close a track, but I can't imagine anybody's had a better week than Dave Kingman. He's ought to be right up there for consideration for Player of the Week.
Don't know how you can have a better week.
5 homers, 12 runs batted in. He walked him. 3rd walk by Randy Jones, and now he's on the edge of trouble. Tying runs on base and nobody out. And we'll have warm-up action for New York, the right-hander Neil Allen and the left-hander Pete Falcone. And Joe Torre wants Rube Walker to come out to the mound and hold a meeting. Not only are the first 2 men on, but they are the 8th and 9th batters in the order. 3-1, New York in front. Glad to see Steve Carlton pitching for the Phillies today. That means the Mets will not have to hit against him. Although they had Carlton beat on this homestand, and Philly attack got him off the hook.
Carlton will be 8-0 after the day, the way things are going in Philadelphia. The Phillies leading 6-1 after 7.
Mets have beaten Carlton more than any team in the National League. They've beaten him 27 times over the years. So a tough spot here for Randy Jones. I guess they'll have Ivan De Jesus trying to bunt him over. And the Mets at 1st and 3rd will play for the bunt. De Jesus, the leadoff batter. Bunted, foul, strike 1.
Cubs playing for the tie away from home. Don't see many clubs do that.
Not too often. But when you're having trouble scoring runs, I guess the philosophy would be let's tie it up and worry about it after that. Cubs hitting .229 as a team, Mets .264.
I could see that happening when you had a Bruce Sutter in the bullpen, but they don't have Bruce Sutter anymore.
Bunted, fair ball. Stearns will have to throw to first. Flynn covering. But De Jesus does the job, advancing the tying runs into scoring position. It will bring up Steve Dillard, the number 2 hitter, with Bill Buckner, the number 3 hitter, on deck. Now Dillard has line to right. He tried to bunt his way on. Jones threw him out, and he bounced to short. Let's see how the Mets are going to play the infield. They'll play the infield in at 1st and 3rd and back at 2nd and short. And the sinker is low and away, ball 1. That just missed. 2 balls and no strikes. So Steve Dillard will take a look to see if Amalfitano wants him to take. They would love to have him loaded up for Bill Buckner. There's Joe Amalfitano, the manager. Ball 3, 3-0. Joe Torre has both a left-hander and a right-hander warming up as we look at Bill Buckner in the on-deck circle. Ball 4, he walked him on 4 pitches. fourth walk by Randy Jones. Bases loaded. Tough decision here for Joe Torre. Here he comes. That means we will have a new pitcher coming in the game. Now he has Falcone and Allen both ready in the bullpen. And the signal is for Pete Falcone, with Billy Buckner, a left-hand hitter, and a very good one, coming to the plate. The signal is for Pete Falcone. And so Randy Jones will leave after 6 1/3. If the bullpen can hold it for him, he can get his first win of the season. But it's a very tough spot. The bases are loaded, and Bill Buckner, who won the batting title in the National League last season, is coming up to hit. Randy departs. Jones pitching well, still suffering a little bit from a lack of control, but pitching a very gritty ball game, getting the big outs when he had to get them. Falcone will make his 15th appearance, all in relief except for one start against the St. Louis Cardinals. Pete 1-1 in relief and 0-1 as a starting pitcher. And here comes Pete Falcone. And a reminder as Pete comes in to be sure and make your plans now on the next homestand. Cap night here at Shea Stadium on Saturday night, June the 13th. Youngsters 15 and under with a paid admission will receive a Mets cap. So come on out and catch the Mets magic. And the date again is Saturday night, June 13th. And while Stearns and Falcone talk it over, listen in. Ralph will bring you right up to date on other Major League games.
Okay, Montreal leading Pittsburgh by a score of 4-1 after 7. McCovey now pitching for the Pirates. Rogers still in, the starter for Montreal. Dawson got his 12th home run. Matlock got his second in the game, both coming with no one on base. At the end of 8, Philadelphia 6, St. Louis 1. Carlton working on his 8th victory. He hasn't lost yet this year. Martinez started for the Cardinals. Cott replaced him in the 8th. On the schedule, Cincinnati in Los Angeles, Atlanta in San Diego, and Houston playing San Francisco in San Francisco. In the American League, at the end of 2.5, Cleveland 3, the Yankees 1. Rudy May on the mound for the Yankees. Barker pitching for Cleveland. At the end of 5.5, California 5, Chicago 0. Wood against Trout. California scheduled against Chicago in a doubleheader in Chicago. At the end of 4.5, it's Oakland 2, Toronto 1. Underwood started for Oakland, relieved by Jones in the 5th inning. Todd pitching for Toronto. Home run by Gross in the 3rd inning with 1 on his 4th of the year. At the end of 3.5, Baltimore 4, Detroit 0. At the end of 5 innings, it's Milwaukee 3 and Boston 1. At the end of 4, Kansas City 1, Minnesota 0. And later on, Seattle playing Texas.
What a spot in this particular ball game. Bill Buckner batting at .310, 4 homers and 31 runs batted in. 1 for 3 this afternoon. Mets lead 3-1. The bases loaded and 1 away. Falcone against Buckner, and here we go. He popped him up. Infield pop fly. They invoked the infield fly ruling. Baylor, the shortstop, behind the mound, and he lost the ball. Now everybody runs at their own risk, and so the batter is out. And the runners held their base. The infield fly ruling had been invoked. You rarely see that, Ralph, where the infielder doesn't make the play. But the runners were all alert. They all stayed right where they should be.
Well, unless you're really a baseball fan and understand the infield fly rule, you wouldn't understand this play. But the batter is automatically out on this play. It was put into effect to keep fielders from dropping the ball on purpose and then getting the double play. Now, the runners could run, but the ball is so close to Baylor that they had nowhere to go, so it's an out.
Jerry Morales, the batter. Ground ball bounced to shortstop. Baylor to Flynn, side retired. Falcone comes in and gets it done, getting Bill Buckner and Jerry Morales. And the Cubs do not score. No runs, 1 hit, and 3 were left on. And in the middle of the 7th inning, the score, the New York Mets 3 and the Chicago Cubs 1. Fans, the 1981 New York Mets yearbook is one of the most colorful ever put together. The yearbook has been totally redesigned from cover right through to the last pages. And speaking of the cover, it was drawn by the award-winning sports cartoonist Bill Gallo. And inside, you'll find page after page of marvelous color pictures taken by Dennis Burt, photos of all your favorite Mets. And the biggest bonus of all, inside the book comes the huge pull-out wall poster, pictures of everyone who ever played for the New York Mets. You're right, that means more than 300 names and faces, starting with the 1962 original team and right up to 1981. It's a bonus you're bound to enjoy and one that's sure to become a collector's item. Now, to order the all-new 1981 Mets yearbook and poster, send $3 in check or money order, plus 75 cents for postage and handling. The Mets yearbook, Box 1981, Union City, New Jersey, 07087. And again, that's Mets yearbook, Box 1981, Union City, New Jersey, 07087. Get your 1981 yearbook and bonus poster today.
Now pitching, batting ninth, number 40.
Comes in the game for Chicago. That was an exciting moment of interest, Ralph, and kind of hard to understand and explain. Pete Falcone has been more successful getting right-handed batters out than he has left. But he came in and he got a very tough left-hand hitter, Billy Buckner.
Buckner, the hardest man to strike out in the National League, and they got him to pop up, and they got the out on the infield fly, and then quickly getting Jerry Morales. Good job. Bases loaded at the time.
Rick Reuschal, in 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, allowed 5 hits. He struck out 4 and walked only 1. Now Lynn McLaughlin has come on in relief. McLaughlin was a Cubs starter a year ago. Things have not gone very swimmingly for him so far this year. He's 0-2 in 64 innings, has allowed 65 hits, and a 3.40 ERA. That ERA is not bad at all. Foul tip off the bat of John Stearns. Now, if the bullpen can protect the lead, the Mets will have won their 3rd series in a row. Randy Jones will have his first win in a New York Mets uniform. What a beautiful day this turned out to be. Mets play in Philadelphia tomorrow night with Pat Zachary on the mound, opposed by Larry Christensen. They'll return a week from Tuesday night to play the Cincinnati Reds here at Shea Stadium. 1 ball and 1 strike to John Stearns. John, an infield hit in 2 times up. And the breaking ball just missing. It's 2-1. McLaughlin has started 6 games this year and now made 9 relief appearances. And a strike call. Ground ball hammered to short. Ivan De Jesus. He has a good arm across to Buckner, 1 man away. In the Chicago bullpen, the left-hander Doug Capilla, and the right-hander is Raleigh Eastwick III from Camden, New Jersey. Here's Hubie Brooks. Hubie 0 for 2, but checking into the game as the number 6 hitter in the National League. At the moment, Hubie hitting .327. It is high, ball 1.
Hubie's had some trouble with the Cubs. He's had only 1 hit and 9 times up, so his average slipping against Chicago.
He was kind of due to cool off a little bit. Late swing and a foul ball. One ball, 1 strike. It will probably be Pat Zachary, Mike Scott, and Greg Harris against the Phillies Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. And there's a drive to the opposite field, moving over quickly, Carlos Lescano, and Lescano puts it away for the out. So 2 gone in the home 7th. And here's Doug Flynn. Doug trying to fight his way out of a batting slump. At the moment, Doug hitless in his last 15 times at bat, dropping his batting average to 260, 269. Just shaved the outside corner, a strike.
Carlton won his game, so Carlton now 8-0, the top pitcher in the National League. He has gone by Valenzuela.
Off the outside corner. The Phillies were here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Mets won 2 out of the 3, including the game Carlton started. But Carlton did get off the hook when the Phillies rallied. Bounced over the mound. DeJesus grabs it near second. And to Billy Buckner for the third out. Oh, no. He dropped the ball. Never take anything for granted in the game of baseball. Reliable fielder Billy Buckner. Look at it again.
Second error by the Cubs, and they've made 48 errors. This one is a routine catch, and he just does not hit. It's the same from this angle.
And that's why they put erasers on pencils, huh? That's about as shocking as if Mike Jorgensen dropped it. Pete Falcone, good hitting pitcher. Get off the end of the bat down the third base line.
Occasional magic moment. So Nelson Doubleday went shopping on the free agent market. And even though he lost the big jewel, he did manage a few baguettes before finally buying his center stone. Slightly imperfect, but perfect for the setting. So these are the METS. For the most part, a shapeless jewel, just waiting to be formed. The Yankees. The METS 81 began with many of the same problems that had plagued them for years. A suspect pitching staff, trouble at the corners, and the lack of a big power hitter.
Well, Frank, you did it. You got that power hitter that you were looking for. You chased for a while, but you finally came up with Dave Kingman. You must be happy about it.
Yes, I really am. I think I probably just wore him down after 6 months of trying to pick up his contract. But I must say, in all candor, that in making a list of people that could help the METS because of their desperate need for power, that he was number one on my shopping list. One swing of the bat to end a ball game, to do what we had to do. He was ahead of Dave Winfield in my book, and therefore he was my number one. So I relaxed.
Ball player you were when you left New York. Your troubles with the press have, well, legendary. Is all that?
And let the fans know what happens on the baseball field. And if that does happen, the press and Dave Kingman will get along just fine. Looking forward to the New York scene again, and I feel very much at home. It's nothing like setting foot in strange territory at all. I know my way around. I've got many friends there. I'm looking forward to starting up again, and I'm excited.
You know, everybody talks about Kingman. He left New York. He left some bad taste behind him. He's a moody ball player, but the rumor is that you can handle him and that he likes you as a manager tremendously and will play for you. Why?
I don't know about handling him. I think Dave can handle himself. It was just a matter of, you say he's moody, but there are a lot of guys who can play this game and a lot of guys who can't play this game, and they're moody too. But the only ones that really get the reputation of being moody are the only ones the media care to know about. You know, the guys who are 220 are moody. They don't care about that.
Well, Dave isn't a 220 hitter. His lifetime average is 243, but we're not discussing a singles hitter. Kingman still holds the METS home run record, 37 in 1976, and he led the league in 79 with 48 of them. So his mere presence in the lineup will serve to give the team a psychological lift.
I feel with their trade right there, I think it made us a 500 ball club, I think, right off the bat. Now I really feel as if this gives us a legitimate shot to win. We have, depending on what Mookie's going to do, if he's leading off for us, we have the first 3 guys in the lineup that are capable of stealing 30 to 50 bases a year. And you don't have too many teams that can do that. And plus, we have the home run ball now.
This year is going to be a different story, you know, and especially for the pitcher's aspect. If you give up a home run, say the 7th or 8th inning, now you can actually say, well, we got Kingman coming up next inning. Maybe Dave can get a hold of one, or Rusty, or Lee, and now it's going to be a good feeling. It really is.
Take advantage of his strong arm. So where does that leave Joel Youngblood, who's probably the best defensive outfielder they have? Well, Joe Torre wanted Youngblood at third base, but Joel couldn't handle it. So unless there's a trade made, look for John Stearns to begin the season at third, the 16th Met to open there in 20 years. At the other corner, the Mets may have solved their first base problem with the addition of another former teammate, Rusty Staub. But at 37, you have to wonder if he can play every day.
Well, you know, words aren't going to accomplish that. I know I'm in good shape. I was playing every day last year. Being a designated hitter, you got to do a lot of work in between, too. People don't realize that you just don't sit on that bench and accomplish things.
Rusty does have any problems, there's Mike Jorgensen to back him up, or Dave Kingman, or John Stearns. But one thing is certain. Last year's experiment with Lee Mazzilli is definitely over.
If Rusty has, a couple days rest or something like that, I'll go and play first base. And Joe and I talked about it. Fine, I'll be glad to do that. But to start there, no. Right now, we're looking to start Rusty at first.
Center field has that mystique. I mean, the center fielder has always been the superstar. Is that one of the reasons why you feel you want to be in center field, that you have to be in center field? Because you are the core of the Mets, their superstar?
No, not at all, because my whole career since Little League, I've always played center field. So it's different. People talk about having that mystique, playing in center field in New York, behind Mantle and Mays and DiMaggio. But no, it's something I've always played. But yeah, you think about playing in New York. But I don't look at it. I don't take that attitude towards it because of that reason. I just have fun going out there and running down the balls. It's just...
Mookie Wilson, fresh from Tidewater, joins Mazzilli and Kingman in the outfield. He should excite the fans with his speed on the bases. The middle of the infield is one of the league's best, with Doug Flynn, last year's Gold Glove winner at second, and Frank Taveras at short. But there are still some question marks. John Stearns hasn't yet fully recovered from a finger operation, although Alex Trevino is more than adequate as his replacement. And finally, there's the pitching. The bullpen seems strong, and Tim Leary draws nothing but raves. However, the rest of the starting staff has to prove itself.
I have three guys
Again,
who have had...
unfortunately, under the threat of a strike, let's just hope that sanity prevails and that both sides can come up with a workable formula. As for our teams, well, George Steinbrenner, they have a lot of guys who can play a great many different positions. Joe Torre has got to come up with a right formula, and when he does, they're going to be fun to watch. And don't rule out the possibility of a trade. It wouldn't be too surprising if they came up with Jason Thompson. I'm Bill Mazur. So long, it's been a pleasure.